Hey guys, it's me Sujoy over here. So I'm back with another video. On this video, I'm going to be talking about the Vietnam tourism boom. Okay, so so I'm going to be reading an article from Vietnam News, which is my go-to guide when it comes to keeping myself updated regarding the Vietnam news. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Sujoy. The name of my channel is called Sujoy in Vietnam. I've been living here for over 5 years now. I started my journey in Vietnam as an English teacher for 3.5 years, and then I started my own digital marketing business. And I'm also a full-time YouTuber. So I welcome you all to my channel. So lately there has been a very strong tourism boom here in Vietnam, and that's really very good for the tourism industry out here in Vietnam. So I'm going to be reading it out from Vietnam News, which is my go-to guide, and I'm also going to keep a link of this article in the description below for you to check it out. Let me read out the article for you. Okay, I'll just keep my laptop over here and have my usual morning coffee. When you're in Vietnam, you should try a lot of Vietnamese coffee, and it's a great country to visit if you're a coffee lover. You know. All right, so let's just continue. Vietnam expects to welcome 12.5 to 13 million foreign visitors this year, higher than the initial targets. Now, there have been a few articles before regarding the tourism boom here in Vietnam, and I was a bit skeptical. Was it because of the domestic tourism market here catering to the locals, or is it because of the foreigners who are arriving to Vietnam? I think, let's just proceed ahead with this article over here. So, is from Hanoi. In a move reflecting the potential of the tourism sector, the Ministry of Culture, Sports, and Tourism is gearing up to suggest an increase to this year's international tourist target. So, if you're talking about international tourist targets for 12.5 to 13 million as an estimate tourist target, I think that's pretty good, awesome, amazing, setting sights on a potential 13 million visitors as the peak season looms. The ministry will propose the government change the international tourist target from 8 million to 12.5 to 13 million for 2023. So it looks like the government had initially proposed a target of 8 million, but now that's been upscaled up to 12.5 to 13 million. So that is crossing way above the above the targeted deadline, which is very good for the Vietnam tourism market. So this represents an increase of about 156% compared to the plan of 8 million set at the beginning of 2023, before China officially announced its decision to reopen its borders and resume international tourism activities. So I also read from Bangkok Post because I also like to keep myself updated regarding the Thai news. I've heard that there has been a huge uptick of Chinese tourists, last week who are coming to Thailand, as their major preferred destination right now, since the borders have been unlocked in China. So I wouldn't be surprised that Vietnam is going to be the next attraction for many of these Chinese tourists who come mainly as a group tour. So that is something which is really amazing. The target has already been achieved in September, with nearly 9 million visitors coming to the country in the first 9 months of the year. It should be noted that prior to the pandemic, Vietnam welcomed 18 million foreign visitors in 2019. Well, and I think I would completely agree with that before COVID struck. Like I said, I've been living here for more than 5 years. The amount of foreign tourists, which I would see pre COVID, would be enormous. Even if I would go around in District 1 in Saigon, or there would be a huge uptick of a lot of foreign tourists coming to Vietnam, backpackers, foreign tourists coming with their families. So it was just enormous, and that time it was pretty different. Even the nightlife and everything. But yeah. All right, so let's just carry on. The ministry wants to present the proposal because the tourism industry will enter the peak season of international tourism in the last months of the year. So, taking advantage of opportunities from the new visa exemption and electronic visa policies, the tourism industry expects the number of international tourists to Vietnam to increase rapidly. So, let me just touch base regarding the new 90-day e visa policy. Definitely, I can see there has been a huge uptick because of this. And I would also suggest to the ministry that if there can be visa free on arrival for more than 100 plus countries, 100 plus countries, which also includes India. Uh, Give a 45-day visa free on arrival. I think that would be a complete big game changer for Vietnam. And of course, I would also like to see down, the pipeline work, like by 2020, end of this year. If Vietnam can also roll out with, the different visa categories, like you have the 3 months, oh, why not make it also the 6 months, tourist visa, which I think Vietnam had pre-COVID. That's all right if the prices are a bit, a bit higher for that. So that would be nice to see if there could be a 6 months single entry or multiple entry visa, and also if Vietnam can come up with new visa categories like the retirement visa, the digital nomad visa, because there are a lot of digital nomads and YouTubers here in Vietnam who want to promote Vietnam, in the limelight to the world when it comes to travel and tourism, and of course, it's also good for the economy. So I think the digital nomad visa should be rolled out, and also the 6 months e-visa, tourist e-visa, should also come into effect. So that would be really nice. That would also create a huge surge in tourism. Because they're travelers, they want to come to Vietnam, then they want to go to other parts of Southeast Asia, and then they can come back to Vietnam after 4 months or 5 months without having to apply for another visa for Vietnam. So I think the 6 months visa would be a very good game changer. So the Vietnam National Administration of Tourism, under the ministry under the Ministry of Cultural, Sports and Tourism, said that last month the country welcomed over 1.5 million international tourists. So I'm going to skip a few paragraphs over here because you can read the remaining of the article, which I'll keep on the link down in the description below. Total revenue from tourists, including from 93.5 million domestic visitors so far this year, is 536.5 trillion Vietnam dong, which is equivalent to 22 billion US dollars. So it's not much of a surprise that the domestic tourism market is pretty strong compared to the international tourism market. And that's how actually Vietnam was able to revive its tourism industry during the pandemic, right after the pandemic, when Vietnam tried to open its door, is to provide a lot of discounted domestic airfare tickets for their domestic travelers to travel in different parts to travel different parts of Vietnam. You know, so Chinese tourists surpassed 1 million people, ranked second. Next is Taiwan. Okay. So now, if we talk about Europe, in Europe, the three countries providing the largest number of visitors to Vietnam are the United Kingdom, which is 187,000 people, France, 155,000 people, and Germany, 142,000 tourists. Next is Russia with 88,000 tourists. Okay, so let me just try to conclude this article over here is saying that this month many more attractive activities will take place, including Hui Festival, the Winter Festival with a musical instrument performance, the healthcare tourism, and the heritage drawing competition for young people. Coming back to the Russian tourists, there has been a huge uptick of Russian tourists because I believe there are people in Russia who want to come to Southeast Asia because they don't want to get enlisted with the army, because there is this war going on between Russia and Ukraine. I mean, no offense, but that's my personal insight. But yes, there should be more events and activities here in Vietnam. I mean, I would love to see if Tomorrowland comes here in Vietnam, if happens in Da Nang or Vung Tau, Tomorrowland Festival. Oh my God, there will be such a huge uptick of foreign tourists. So like doing all these huge cultural events or the Moon Party, Tomorrowland. Those are really big game changers. I'm going to keep a link of this article below for you to read it out. And this is a very positive news. Also, just a quick one I would like to suggest is that um, it would be better if Vietnam can also improve its customer service experience, because Vietnam does not have the best of customer service, and this can impact the tourism industry. So they need to look into this, and I'm going to upload that video about that, about the customer service, which I recorded last evening. So I'll upload that today. If you're traveling around in Southeast Asia and if you want to start a successful online business, I'm going to keep a link down in the description below for you to get access to this exclusive webinar invite. It's free to join, and you can start having a successful automated online business and earn passive income while traveling around in Southeast Asia. So, with that being said, you guys have a great day. This was me, Sujoy. Peace out.